WNS Global Services, and Bharti Airtel Lanka Private Limited. Named in LMD's Women in Business A-list in March 2022 and in Millennial Torchbearers A-list in 2020, she is a proud fellow member of CIMA, holds an MBA from the University of Sri Jawaharlal and is a project management professional of PMI USA. She's also the Vice President of the BPA at Buddhist Ladies College, Colombo 7, and is a part of Alethea School Development Society. Most importantly, Ms. Ansary is here today as the Country Manager of CIMA, Sri Lanka, to talk to us on the topic Inspire to Perform, the theme of today's event. Without further ado, let's welcome Zahara Ansary.
Thank you. Good evening. I see a lot of Ilmians here. I've just been speaking to you guys a couple of weeks ago. Great. Alright, so I know Shoaib probably got you guys all pumped up inside, but I'm going to get you guys pumped up physically. Can you all please stand up? You all need some energy, come on. I need that energy from yours. Okay, quick exercise. I know Shoaib asked you all this question, I'm going to ask this again, maybe not from the front row, but close your eyes and think, who do you want to be in the future? Just close your eyes and imagine that. Who do you want to be? Done. Thank you. You may take your seats and I'm going to come around and ask a couple of questions. Yes, I heard the SHIT. Alright. Who do you want to be? Thank you. Sportsman?
Navy SEAL.
Awesome! Well done.
Engineer.
Engineer. Remember you. Awesome. So we've got 3 people who know what they want to be. How many of you don't know what you want to be? Thank you for your honesty. That's it. Only 3 people don't know what they want to do here. A few more. Thank you. Thank you. That means you have an open mind today. Very good. Awesome. I've been given a tough topic. Where is it? Sorry, you need to support me on that one. Next slide. Okay. So that was my first question. Who, what, where? Did any of you all imagine a person that you want to be? Someone in existence. Like probably some Navy SEAL probably motivated you towards being that. Too much of G.I. Joe? So what's a movie? Tour of Duty, right? I can't say G.I. Joe these days, right? Oh, sorry. A lot of things could probably inspire you towards what you want to be, what you can be, and where you want to be. I'm going to need some support with the slides, sorry. So, relating to my topic today, one thing is you need to decide where your passion lies. And that passion can come from within you, can come from a movie that you watch, can come from a lady like Miss Chayanti over here, who would have probably inspired at least a few of you to go up to base camp at least. Maybe not Everest, but somewhere there, halfway there. How are you going to know your strengths? Do all of you know your strengths? Shoaib spoke about knowing your inside. Maybe at least today take that time to think, to find out what are your strengths. And if your passion doesn't necessarily relate to your strengths, how are you going to work on building those? And then to get to your passion. For example, the one who wanted to be an engineer, how are you going to follow? What are the channels that you're going to follow your qualification? Are you going to go into Sri Lankan University, spend 4 years or 6 years, or are you going to get qualified in a private place and then speed up the process? Persistence. Are you going to give up halfway when the university closes? These are the realities of life today, right? Everyone's comfortable with English here, right? Not that I can speak Tamil, by the way. Oh. Another important matter is your networks. I know this program would have started at 3. Other than your classmates, how many of you know each other? Or at least 1 or 2 of the others. How many of you do? 1, 2, 3. OMG, that's it? I'll share a small story, okay? So when I was in Interact, back at Alethea, some of you may know this. When you go to Interact functions, you have this book that you get at the function that lists down all the schools that have been invited to these events like installation ceremonies or events. So I wanted to go to all those schools. At one point in time, I wanted to go to all those schools and have friends in all those schools. And mind you, I only did Interact when I was at Alethea. That was just 2 years of my life. And I became the president only about 6 months after joining school or something like that. I joined in September, and the year after, in June, I became the president of Alethea. I see one of my seniors right at the back as well, who was also an interactor. And I did do that. I went to almost all of those schools. Why? Because I wanted to create a network, and I wanted that. I knew I was going to be in business. I didn't know I was going to be at SEMA, but I knew I wanted to be in business. I wanted to make friends, and I wanted to create networks for the future. And today, all those networks are actually helping me. So think about it. Probably when you have the break, make some new friends. Because the future CEO, maybe 5 years down the line, maybe even 2 years down the line, you have so many entrepreneurs coming up these days, right? From the young ones, could be sitting right next to you. I'm sure all of you all are A-levels this year, hopefully. Or O-levels. It doesn't really matter. If you're even... Last weekend at Bayleaf, I saw kids who are grade 1 doing businesses. If you're not aware of this, go check out Young Entrepreneurs Club, YEC, Sri Lanka. So there were a set of 10 businesses at Bayleaf, and they are pretty successful because I bought stuff off them as well. So build your networks. That's just getting there. But to stay there, you need to perform. I'll probably touch on a couple more slides about the kind of issues that we're faced with in the world today. But for you to be successful, you need to perform. That's my topic today, so I need to cover that. And then to grow, if I may ask those who are working in corporates today, what got them into the corporates is not going to keep them there anymore. So if someone had a qualification, for example, let's say a degree that got them a job, that is definitely not going to keep them in that job any longer in the current environment. Why? The entire world is changing. There's so much of technology change that's happening, right? How many of your parents are accountants, if there are any? None. Okay. Okay, there was one. Sorry. How many were into marketing? Any jobs in marketing? Okay. The world has changed, right? The typical way of doing accounts, the double entry books, long gone. You have systems to do all that. You have Excel. You used to use Excel to do reconciliations. Now no more. You've got systems to do all that. Marketing, traditional marketing versus what's the new fad? Zia right at the back can tell you, digital marketing. And that's one of the qualifications that's required in the future as well. Because remember what Shoaib was saying? Social media, so many people commenting on you, your brand also matters. I'll capture on that a little later. So you need to concentrate on your professional growth, awareness about what's out there. You need to be street smart. Otherwise you're not going to survive, not even right now, not even in the future. Why I put from poverty to prosperity, it's actually one of our taglines that we use at SEMA. You might feel, okay, I want to be a businessman like probably Darren Gomez. Probably who's the number one businessman? Dameka Pereira, right? Dameka Pereira started right at the bottom. He's made his money now. So maybe you all could be coming from middle class, lower middle class, upper class. Sky is the limit. Whether you have the connections now or whether you're going to build the connections in the future, you can be whatever that you imagine yourself to be, even the Navy SEAL. Next slide, please. And in the process of getting there, you're going to get hammered down. You could probably fail, not once, not twice. How many times did Einstein fail? Oh, sorry, whoever the guy, that was Einstein, right? You're going to get a lot of failures on the way. And if that's going to make you give up, that's where you end. A commoner. Or are you going to beat failure and rise back? And I'm sure Jayanti would have covered this as well, right? And Jayanti's partner, Johan, if I'm not mistaken. He failed the first time, he went back in and he achieved it. So think about it. Are you guys going to give up? Are you guys going to go on? Next slide, please. Probably lost by now, right? What is she going on about? Next slide. Thank you. So where are you going to find your inspiration? I need a raise of hands again. Is it money? Hands, hands, hands. Thank you. Wow. Happiness, like Shweb said. Thank you. Contentment. Yep, at least the most of you want money. The ones who didn't raise your hand, what do you want? Just shout out from wherever you are. What do you want, Zahara? No. Yes?
Being able to help people.
Brilliant. That gives you happiness in return, right? Anyone else? These masks are not helping me understand your emotions. Alright, so what bugs you? And why should you perform? Like Safa rightly said, it's either by helping people, that would make you happy, or it could be money, like some rightly said. Because at the end of the day, money will also help you help others, right? Next slide, please. So the world out there. I am sure whilst you're here, probably some of you might be thinking, have we got gas? How are we going to help our parents find gas? Milk powder, petrol, diesel. And now with the power cuts, rechargeable fans and lights and all of that. It's chaos out there. On top of that, there's a lot of disruption that's happening. I know I asked this question last time at Gilma, so I'm going to ask the others. Any Zahirians here by any chance? No, right? So the war in Ukraine, is it impacting us or not?
Yes.
No? Okay, I am hearing a bit of no's. Yes, the Moya kids were saying yes, right? So obviously yes, our exports to Russia, to Ukraine, tea exports, we export a lot of tea. War happens, sanctions happen. Do you guys know that Dialogue, for example, or even my company for that matter, we don't sell in Russia right now. We've completely taken off our qualification in Russia because there are lots of sanctions that come in, right? So, whatever that happens out there in the world, it's going to impact the first question I asked you. Who you want to be? Your career. What do you want to do? All of that gets impacted with the geopolitics of the world. So you need to be mindful about that. There's a lot of anxieties, there's a lot of worries, the points I was raising earlier about scarcity of resources in Sri Lanka, right? But all of this also presents one thing. Anyone want to take a guess? It starts with O. Yes, Safa.
Opportunity.
Brilliant, yes. So all of this actually presents a world of opportunities out there. So I'm going to capture a little bit about skills that are out there in the new world. If any of you want to read more, please go to World Economic Forum. They put out reports almost every year, and those are very, very relevant for those of you who want to get into corporate jobs. Even if you want to go down the entrepreneurship route, this would be important. So the new world out there has new skills that are needed, and of course, the future of jobs. A lot of automation is happening. You need to be aware of it because it's going to impact no matter what role, even if it's the Navy SEALs role. Because there will be a lot of technology that will come into play. Next slide, please. We are living in a world that's doubly disrupted. One by the pandemic, the next by the technology. And technology would include things like cloud computing, big data, e-commerce, encryption, robots. For those of you whose parents are working in the companies like the top 20 or the top 40 companies in Sri Lanka, they probably will be using some of these technologies already. So I know Unilever, for example, has bots working on their processes. We've got something called robotic process automation happening in almost all of the finance roles in these big companies. You need to be aware. So if you want to go down those routes, please read up about it, because I wouldn't have the time to cover it up. For those of you who want to earn dollars while sat at home, that opportunity is out there as well. Yes, I know within 7 days it's going to get translated into LKR because of the CBSL rules. However, you can still be a remote worker if you want to earn part-time. Sri Lanka also has gig working opportunities. Even companies like Fonterra, Unilever, and so on. Why am I referring to these companies? Because they are my top corporate partners and I know what happens inside. And for those of you who are doing your O-levels, if you want to qualify on the side, there are enough and more on-demand credentials and certifications out there. I think Trainocate also does a number of such IT qualifications. We at CIMA do. There's enough and more stuff out there if you want to learn coding. How many of you like coding here? Alright, so SLASCOM has the Tech Kids initiatives. There's so many. Just Google it and you're going to find out what those are. So whilst you're doing your O-levels or your A-levels, in the meantime, do those qualifications because that's going to help you get to your end goal, which you were envisioning earlier. Next one. So this is also again from the World Economic Forum, so top 10 skills of 2025. They are no longer the skills of the past that which our parents or even our elder siblings used to follow or think was the required ones. It's completely changed. It's things like analytical thinking, creativity, originality. I'm not going to read out from the slides, so you can always Google World Economic Forum and find these out. What is the most essential element in a world of technology, where there is so much technology, so many things happening? What do you think is the most essential element for us? I need to, okay, sorry. Any guesses? Okay, since I'm conscious of time, human skills and, importantly, one more. Next slide. No, we'll skip this. Again, one more. It's your own mindset. So Shoaib did a great job of explaining this to you all. In other words, I'm sorry, this pillar is really annoying, but I shall try not to get annoyed. It all comes down to your mindset. Long before, we had a lot of seniors who used to think in one way. They had a very fixed mindset. Right now, I'm sorry, Jack, I'm not relating back to your speech because I wasn't here, but I was there for his, so I can relate back. He was talking about all those negative comments, right? That's on social media and so on. What kind of mindset do those people have? Complain, negative. I'm not not saying you gotta be a positivity auntie like we've seen in the past. But what can you do? If you keep being negative, what are you doing to yourself? If you keep thinking, in negative ways, I don't think I need to go too far. I'll explain something to you all today. I've got 2 kids. One's 5 and a half, and the other one's 8 months. And I do so many lectures like this, and I know I'm very conscious about my own feelings, my thoughts, all of that. But early morning today, I find that the eldest has put sand in her water bottle. Okay, so the straw, sand is inside that, so I need to clean it up. And I'm also conscious that today is a day of power cuts from 2 p.m. to 12 p.m. for me. So I'm already annoyed, right? Early morning, I'm already annoyed. And I realized that I'm actually shouting at her. But no fault of hers. Yes, fine putting sand. She's a kid. She's a 5.5-year-old. Obviously, I'm happy aching Beruna. So, thing is, what am I doing there? All that negativity around me, it's flowing through. Early morning in the house, 6 a.m. in the house, it's flowing through. And I am conscious. I am doing the wrong thing. And I quickly collect myself back and I pacify her and say, I'm sorry. So all that negativity around you, be mindful, because that's going to impact your mindset. It's not going to help you stretch out and be the best version of yourself. Next slide, please. Next, cover this. So coming back to what you want to be in life, what you want to do, the kind of roles that were out there in the past probably were things like this: engineer, marketing, medicine. You will need to find out before you jump. Next slide, please. Because the roles have now changed. There are new careers out there. Remember, you were thinking who you want to be? Even in engineering, you're going to have different fields available. Be it on electronics or electric. There are a variety of types. So read up before you jump. So let me go on to tips and tricks. The first point is something very critical. I am sure Jayanti captured this, and Shoaib did pass a bit of a mention about it. There are lots of unconscious biases that probably is impacting you all. The minute I stood up and I went up to stage, you must be thinking, oh, who is she? What is she? Some of you may have thought, okay, she's probably 20 years old. I'm double that. These unconscious biases would be at school, towards your teachers, towards your colleagues, towards people out there, towards people on social media whose actual face you don't see, but you probably think, who are they? I know we're in the month of March. I'm not going to go talking about how to treat women and breaking the bias about treating women. But be mindful about all of these unconscious biases that you have about people in general. Because again, when you're going to perform, all of those matters. Because you can't make judgments about someone else, or you'll also be judged the same way. Use the time in your hands and the resources effectively. Do not waste time between qualifications like O-levels and then you take a break. The current world is not going to allow you that. Because by the time you relax, rest, Netflix, all of that, one of your peers would have, qualified already and will be wanted in the corporate world. Find a mentor, a coach, or at least simply a friend. Because the world out there is cruel. That's the reality. this other point is very, very important. Remember, there's a lot of anxiety out there. The scarcity of resources, the country's economic crisis. Surely all of us have a lot of things going on in our minds. How are we going to deal with it, right? How are we going to help our parents? What is our future? Do we have a country to live in? By the time we wake up tomorrow morning, would the GDP have gone up to like a 400 or like we told me in the morning 500? Next week 500. You can't control the future. At least the external environment you can't control. So be mindful, be aware of that. And what's gone in the past is gone. Live in the present. No matter what happens, take it day by day. Don't do what I did in the morning. Don't take all of the pressures on yourself or on others. Something I firmly believe in is the 90-10 rule. Some people say, oh, they pantarama meka una mage dawasa iwarai. No? There's a single word for that. Dawasama puspentu, like that. That's not it, guys. If something went wrong in the morning, fine, a car crash or something happened, it's alright. Start the day from there. Don't think, eka una nisai meka vendi. Or that, because of that, this is going to happen. Or ruin the rest of your day or your relationships because of that. So manage anxiety and stress in a positive way. Be very mindful of your settings. Use social media. I'm not saying don't. Use social media, but use it in the right way. Whatever that you post out there, even if it's a fun comment, if it's going to hurt someone else, is that worth it? They're not going to come and tell you. And also be mindful, whatever that you post out there, if, for example, let's say, someone probably made a comment, maybe encouraging what Will Smith did. Perhaps, maybe saying, okay, good that he did punch. But you could always choose the non-violent way to communicate. I am sure all of you know what I'm talking about, right? Hopefully, if not, probably Google. It's good for you guys to know what that is also, because you need to be self-aware what's happening in the world out there, although it's in the entertainment world. So if you go and like something like that, if someone else sees that, they are going to judge you, right? Thinking, oh, this one encourages violence, or is okay with violence. So be mindful about your digital presence and create your own personal brand. Whatever that you want it to be, when I first started, remember? To get to that, you need to create a brand for yourself as well. So I am sure all of you have mobile phones, right? Everybody has? No? I can see a few nods. But if you do, and if your parents allow, please create a LinkedIn account for yourself. You can start now. Because that is the professional network. I wish we had Facebook and all that. We had hi-fi during our time in school. That was not at all easy to use like Facebook. But have LinkedIn at least and grow your network like I said earlier. Next slide please. So this is where I end. Do something that scares you every day, because that will help you reach closer to the goal that you wanted. That will inspire you to be the best of you. And if you're not happy with your life, go ahead and change it. It's yours to begin with. Thank you.